Welcome back to day 28 of learning Python. In this video, we are going to learn about function scope and docstrings. Okay, we are going to understand how function are going to treat all the variables that we are creating. Now in Python, variables have scope which they can be accessed. Scope basically defines where exactly your variables can be accessed and where not. And lifetime defines how long they exist. Now variables are created when a function is called and destroyed when it returns. So one thing that we need to understand is that variable is destroyed as soon as a function halts. Let's understand with the help of an example. Let's create a file scope. Let's write a function for maybe sum where c returns as a plus b. Return. Now this is very basic function that you simply run, that you simply sum two numbers and it returns as c and it takes the value of a plus b. Let's print sum of maybe 4 comma 6. Okay, so if I do print sum of 4 comma 6, it's going to be output 10. No surprise there, right? 10 is the output. But let me show you something. If I try to print c, will I able to print c? Let's see. 10 is printed, that is from the this one sum, and c is name c is not defined. Okay, let's try to understand why is it exactly happening. So the thing is, Python doesn't work in that way. Okay, the thing is, when you write 4 comma 6, 4 comma 6 are passed as a and b to this function. Okay, the moment you pass 4 comma 6 to a comma b, a is 4, b is 6 and c is 10. Now once c becomes 10, what will happen is it will be returned. Okay, the c will be returned, and once it is returned, a comma b and c will be wiped out of the memory, and that's how function works. Function only keeps variable until it returns. So in this case, we can't access a or we can't access b. If I try to print a as well, we can't print, it will throw an error. Okay, I will just see a is not defined. Okay, because when you say 4 comma 6, 4 is assigned to temporarily until function return and 6 is assigned to b until function returns. This is why you can't access this variable. So we call this variable as local variables. What does that mean? It means that you can only access this variable inside this function. Okay, you can't access them outside the function. But let's say I want to access variable everywhere in the program, and in that case what I can do is I can write a variable here, maybe z equal to 4. Okay, and the reason of this, z is a global variable now. So now let us say I want to change the value of the z. So I'll just mention z equal to z equal to 1. So and I want to print it after changing the value. So I said z equal to 4, right? Z is a global variable here. So I can technically use it anywhere in the program. So before changing the z value, I just want to show, can I access the z variable from here? I will just print z here. Can I access? Let me try to run. Yes, I can access. Print z equal to 4 is printed. So I can access global variable from anywhere in the function. Okay, I will just mention z is a global variable. Okay, so now if I want to change the value of the z, I'll mention z equal to 1 here, and I want to change the value of z, and I will try to print the value of the z now to see is it changed or not. Let's try. Will it change? No, it will not. Why it will not change? Because z from here is a local variable. When I mention z equal to 1, it will local variable. Okay, and it destroyed after this function return. So we have two variables with the same name. So one has a global variable and another one is a local variable, and we can have more than one instance of z is equal to different function. So let's say I have another function called greet. Okay, and if I say equal to 32 and randomly I will print maybe hello world. So we have two variables with the same name. So this is again, it's a local variable, just like z equal to 1 here. So z equal to 1 is a local variable, okay, and z equal to 32 is a local variable in greet function, and z equal to 4 here as a global variable, okay, because it's not inside the function. All right, we studied a lot. Let's quickly recap. Type of scope in Python. One is local scope or variables that are declared inside the function. They only accessible within a function. And another one is global scope. They are declared outside any function and they can be used throughout the program. And this is a example of global variable and this is a example of local variable. Let's talk about global keyword. This is very important and exciting. Global keyword is used to modify global variables and I want to dedicate another program to this. Okay, so let's understand the global keyword. I will create global keyword. Okay, I have a function here. I will just take an example of sum again and I will gonna say print sum maybe 3 comma 12, and I will mention a global variable also, maybe different number, print z, and I want to change the value of the z, that is global variable. I know that I didn't change anything here compared to earlier, so we know that it will not change. So is there any way to do it? Let's see. I will say z equal to 0 maybe. Will it change? No, it didn't change. But can I change? Is there any way to do that? Okay, there is one way actually. If I mention global z, so I am telling here that I want to change the value of global variable here. So if I mention global z, the value, then it will change the global variable. You can see that I'm adding here 15, that is 3 plus, I mean 3 plus 12 is printed. Then the z value is changed here. That is global variable value is changed. So global keyword is simply used to modify the global variable. So these are the kind of questions will be appearing in interviews. There will be question like, can we modify the global variable inside a function? The answer is yes, we can change using global keyword. Yeah, this line is important. Whatever we are changing the value of global keyword, I mean global value with the global keyword, this allows function to change the global variable, but excessive use of global is discouraged as it can make debugging harder. In fact, the excessive use of global keyword is discouraged, and sometimes you can use it when you like or whenever you feel convenient. Okay, and that was for global variable in Python. That's the some of the important concept in Python. Now let's move to docstrings. So what are docstrings? Document strings are used to document functions or classes and modules in Python. They are written in triple quotes. They are accessible using underscore doc underscore attributes. Here an example. So I will just copy from here. So let us say I'm using the sum function again and I have a function it used to sum. So I want to explain this to someone. So what I will do is I will use triple quotes and I will if I mention this will two numbers. Okay, if I try to print sum dot underscore underscore two times we have to add doc underscore underscore two times again. If I try to print this one, it will print this line, and this is called as a docstring. This information called as a docstring. Now it might look like regular Python command, but Right after starting the function, it's called docstring. And if I run this program, you will see that docstrings are going to be printed. You can see that this will sum two numbers. So now, why is it designed? Why is Python designed to have docstrings? Python is designed to have docstring because we sometimes we want to attach information to a function. We want to attach information on what variables it is taking as a parameter, what variables and type of variables it is returning. And all these things are very, very important. So we simply do some dot underscore underscore doc and again underscore two time to get the information. This information is also available when we, so whenever I hover over the function, you will see the sum of two numbers. Any information you want to add to the function, Python function. Now the thing is, a lot of people will use your function if your package function as a module. People use them, and it's your responsibility to guide them, to make them understand easier how to use your function, what are the values are acceptable, what are the values are not acceptable, and how they can make most of out of our function. And this is the information you can attach within your function. Now let's see an example writing detailed docstring. If you see here, this is a multi-line docstring. This is the way we have added like detailedly like what exactly this function does. Okay, it basically help fellow programs to make most out of this. Okay, we studied a lot so far. The function help in reusability and modularity. They can help, they can take arguments, they can return values. We talked about lambda functions, we talked about recursion, which is a technique when function call itself. Then we talked about modules that help in organizing the code and external libraries. Scope and lifetime of variable decide their accessibility. And we talked about doc strings that are used to document function, classes and modules. Awesome. So I hope you understood most of the part. If not, please watch again and try to understand and try to write the code. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos, and see you in next video.